Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching around the world, welcome back. It's time for day 3 of the ESL PUBG Masters Phase 2 North American Regional Qualifiers. So let's take a quick look at the overall standings. I say quick, we'll make it a little longer because we do want to talk about some things specifically. Remember, B is done and dusted. Well, the points that they have are the points that they will finish with. A and C both have 6 games to climb that board, top 10 advance. Well, the opportunity has placed itself in front of them. You have to take it and you have to make it to the Big 16. Erangel, match number 1 is about to get underway. The plane is in the air with 6 matches to play in the regional playoffs. It is go time. And for some teams, Matt, they got to make it happen on this map because this is their place. This is where they've got the drops. This is where they've got the game.
You even mentioned the MPL. I got the MPL shirt on today. There was a lot to be learned inside the MPL for a lot of these teams. So even though it is aged, the meta, whenever we're looking at things like Erangel, hasn't been highly revolutionized in the same way. Miramar might create some different problems, but the core of the gameplay from that time still can parallel. The question comes into play, are the gun chops still there and are the comms still there? That's what worries me the most.
Well, for the Soniqs, we can say the car chops are still there as they go ahead and get that recovery so they can take their 3 vehicles on their way as they start a very quick rotation out of Pachinki. A little bit of weave and scout as they move towards that south circle that we did have pop up. Soniqs is a team that is currently in 5th, 73 points. They have 6 games to play, Matt. We're going to watch them for the highlights.
Yeah, I do want to point out that if I remember correctly, they have near on 50 points or 50 points in kills. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 50 kills. So feeling pretty good right now, to say the least. So I'll consider that if they can just manage to replicate that, they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable in a solid position competing up against Yahoo.
Going up against the Soniqs, that's a good way to prove your chops.
Yeah, and especially as aggressive as a Soniqs that we've seen. This is a Soniqs that's a lot more roaming and also just apparently hates vehicles. What is going on with their cars? That is the second car flip, as well as in rotation they bumped into each other. Patron is in some trouble outside of this, and Veronica is going to get some vision of what's going to be happening, but this is going to be a quick response. Actually, Shrimzy going to be going down with Patron managing to survive through that one.
Let's go. I hate to see Shrimzy go down, but I like to see a big barrel spray. Veronica makes a nice move here and now has to lock inside of the house and hope maybe a little bit of backup comes in. Quinn decides to pop that door open. Knock, knock. Is anybody home? Found him.
Gets the vision on it. Now this is going to be where Sonics start to find their comfortable positions. All said, though, Shrimzy going down early does mean the fact that they're going to have to contend with an angry Sonics. And whenever Sonics tends to get a little bit pissed, they tend to inflict wounds on the people around them. Patron is already out of this position. You can see has already moved over to the west. Might be spotted by Tiggleton depending on how his wrap comes into play. But, I mean, if I'm anyone else on 4M, I would be very, very cautious about taking pot shots into this.
The hurricane on their logo is no accident. The Soniqs do tend to take lobbies by storm. And I think that's what we've seen with them throughout this these first 3 days is they're playing to me like a team, Matt, who feels comfortably qualified for PGC or at least knows that they're going to be able to get the points they need to continue advancing. They're playing to take some fights and honestly maybe even have a good time. And I like seeing that. It shows a comfort and just a confidence in their game. And if any team in the world deserves it, it's them.
Multiple teams. Spicy Fish now going to have to make a run for their own. Mime's already got the down onto Moody, but it's going to be a Luke that gets the flush onto it, and now it's going to be cascading right between Sonics, right between LG, and somehow not taking a massive amount of casualties. They managed a crossover, and they are on Potato Hill, continuing on a path. They need to stop very quickly, though, as they could bump into Rumblers, and yes, are going to find themselves a dip right along that ravine to play.
All right, yeah, so Sonics going to start to continue. I mean, they're going to keep pushing in. They're playing their game. They've only got 1 kill, which, you know, I said they had a slowish start on day 1, and it's because they didn't put any chicken dinners on the board. But you brought up, they maxed a ton of kills. They went out there and they put in work, and I expect nothing less from them today. That said, this is not the easiest field to manage, Matt. There's just not a lot out there.
It's a very peculiar circle when we look at it. It's a lot more vertical. It's got hills and recesses that are going to be all over it, and that's going to come back and bite Alo as he walks right into held up position. Edge's last member does go down, so Rez should come back into this, but that's going to slow down LG. And remember, it was Soniqs just to the south of them that are going to be trying to make a move of their own. Fortunately, they had a knock that came in, so they're trying to get a res. Both the teams now stalled out and do have vision on each other as Luke is going to go down off on this angle, and you can see it's just going to be a tattering. These two squads have vision, and they know who they're fighting. They want to inflict casualties on each other.
All right, Sonic's going to keep pushing forward. They do, and I think that's a very good point, especially because LG has a bit more of a climb ahead of them to make it into the next round. And I'm sure the Soniqs would love nothing more than to slow down that progression. So we're going to see a nice nade tossed out. A good bounce. Great cook. Boom goes the dynamite. Down goes Luke.
Luke cannot stay rezzed right now. Two members of Soniqs got to beat into their position. Tickleton is inside the safe zone and is going to be looking down on the opposite side of this hill. So anybody's got to move. That means that LG has now got to play the northern part of this hill. They've got to get distance away from Soniqs. But guess what? There's two other teams playing that position. No matter how you go, LG is going to have to fight their way in. Nade pops off again. What the hell, H-Win? That was perfectly cooked.
There's something poetic about wiping out Luminosity, previously STK, with throwables. And H-Win is absolutely doing it, as he also then starts popping off some beautiful 6x shots and gets Alo down. This guy's on fire.
I don't know what LG did to H-Win, but man, he is unleashing on them. Purdy, the last one up, trying to figure out how he's going to make a move into it to the south of what we've been seeing go on. You can see it's going to be Dodge trying to fight their way in, but north is where a lot of our eyes are drawn with so many teams stacked up over here. Do note that T8 can look up this hillside as well. And H-Win, my God, man. What are
Somebody
you
called
doing
the
to this
fire
lobby?
inspector because Arson got smashed. H-Win is killing it, and them, as he is putting in serious work with that SLR. Luminosity does try to push forward. Purdy goes down to the blue, and that will be the end of them. Only 9 teams left, and the Soniqs doing what Soniqs do best, which is just putting hot lead downfield.
Soniqs now do come into position with a firefight that was happening in front of them, where we saw Purdy ends up dying to the blue. Everyone essentially died, as now there's just Icy Flex up for Spicy Fish. To the northeast of this, though, there is the rumblings of a Rumblers fight that is due to happen in just a little while, where most other teams are looking like they're going to do a long southerly wrap. And I hate to say it, if you're doing that, Dodge is one of the teams that's thinking about it. Just don't go near H-Win right now. This dude, 5 kills already, all of Soniq's kills, and it's because of the work that he's been doing. Doing Zinni's going to get about the freest kill he can find. Looks like Ethan is going to try to get up and stall this. TAC 8 has to be careful because they have now summoned the Soniqs to look downhill, and TAC 8 needs to figure out what they're going to do. That did provide enough reprieve time for maybe Dodge to get their feet back underneath of them, but TAC 8, I feel, might have overextended this one.
Not only that, but they also forced Dodge to deploy all their smokes and defensive measures, which means that Soniqs can now come in and try to take that last kill away from him. Tactical 8 was pushing out to try to secure 2 kills while they were in the open. Ultimately, Dodge goes down, and one of those points goes to Soniqs, as well as they get a player down from Tactical 8. So it was a smart play by T8. I just don't think they were prepared for the Soniqs to respond as quickly as they did. Had that first grenade hit, Matt, totally different story. It was about 12 meters short from what I could just, eyeballing it. If it had been a little farther, would have been perfect.
So what is this? Is it just different Soniqs members all have their own independent moment as the circle does go to the east of this area? It means that Soniqs, Rumblers were lining up for a fight against each other. You can remember Mime had his 1v4 that he managed to pull off, I think it was yesterday, for a phenomenal showcase. Now H-Win bringing it in. Mime's been holding this northern line for a while and does know that Rumblers are here. This is going to be a fight for the high ground position, and it depends on if Soniqs wants to commit in. Getting that damage out's feeling pretty good, though, as Rumblers has to run for the hills right now, but are still in position to hold out Soniqs, as they are going to have to fight their way in. Yeah. And I think Mime and the rest of Soniqs wants it.
They could. The hardest thing for Mime there was to figure out who to shoot in such a target-rich environment, as he managed to come up on Rumblers from behind. Unfortunately, they don't get any knocks, and Tiggleton goes down in return, and that is a big loss for the Soniqs, as H-Win now has to push up and try to return some cover so the Rumblers can't execute on this.
It doesn't matter. Everybody's providing a distraction. H-Win, the man with the plan who has been murdering everybody so far, now has vision on Rumblers, and it's got what it takes back behind. This is going to get a line into Los to get the knock on him as well. I think that Take is also moving forward onto the hillside to try to feed information over to H-Win, so that way he knows exactly where to be looking while this fight's going through. Now it comes in. Are we going to see them go for Take? I don't think that they can. He's just going to go ahead and go out. Smoke's now going down because Soniqs knows that they need to make a move. T8 did right themselves back up to all of their 4 members and are still in control over this territory because what it takes is content to hang out next to them and let these 2 Goliaths to the north fight it out.
Yeah, I thought T8 had lost one in that last exchange. The fact they're back to 4 is a massive win for them. Win did also steal that kill of Los HD that Wit got the knock on, so that's another point in the hopper as Win's got 6 kills of his team's 8. Ultimately, he goes down to Tater, but that said, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I mean, 8 kills is a good game for them, especially where they sit. Win's going to be happy with how he played. Well, the next game is about to start.
Soniqs now rotating in. They're going to be coming across the bridge. I believe it is going to be T8 that's going to be pretty close, but they haven't even fortified up. So coming over here and holding down the quad in positional is going to be Soniqs, which is also pretty centered, all set, but it does put them pretty close to the base, so got to be careful about how those water corrects are going to come in later on. A lot of teams are playing right along the northern coast of the bay, of the river in and of itself. It feels like, I would say about 80% of the teams that have managed to come into the circle right now are still playing along this line. For Funners being one of the teams that is approaching in there, and good read on understanding that somebody, unfortunately in this case, going to be Soniqs, are going to be holding down that quad, so make sure you cut north as fast as possible.
Yeah, they made the right change. They would have saw Soniqs crossing the bridge. Everything over there is taken care of. Elsewhere on the map, the Rumblers have a pretty easy transition to come in uncontested. There's not a ton of mix-up because I guess the point of this portion of the map, Matt, to me, is that people have played this circle a lot. You're pretty aware of where the hold spots are. And again, for fun, they had to come up over the top of the hill. I don't think what they expected was to see Soniqs holding the cube and all the way up here to the north to stop that free rotation. For Fun thought they should be able to drive through this area mostly uncontested. And the Soniqs prove once again, they just see everything.
But this is back into that more aggressive roaming Soniqs that has been very dominant in the group stage. And this is more in like asserting your influence on a lobby. We talk about the fact that once you start getting some points ahead, this is what you can do as a team. The Soniqs are feeling like they've qualified, and end all be all, qualifying is what teams are after right now. Higher position on the leaderboard is just bragging rights. Being able to make sure everybody in the lobby now is terrified of taking a firefight from you and maybe slipping a spot or two isn't the worst, all considered.
I think a lot of teams just assume no one's playing Zarky because who would play Zarky? And so Tactical 8, for instance, tried to make that move. Luminosity made a push over that direction as well. They didn't go as smoothly as they would have liked, but they do have a pretty good spot. Now, up at the top of the hill, Scotch Stock for Unana is going to lay out some good shots on the Soniqs. Soniqs has a tough order pushing uphill here with teams that could potentially look over there. If what it takes glances in this direction, the Soniqs are going to be in some trouble. So they need to either finish this quickly or reconsider their options.
I don't know. Like, I like the fact that Soniqs is playing around this hillside, but at the same time, there is a very decent chance that this could lean north or east, so they're still in a prime position from that. Soniqs are getting more active into the south as 4M did make a run by them. Wit's also in trouble as they collapse into that same position, and that's where the firefight's going to be happening. Rumblers do hear this and do have Los that's moving into a third-party position that might be able to get some harassment, but this feels like this is going to be Soniqs just running across this field. Look at the smokes. Look at the way that they're laid out. This is aggressive. We know that we have control over this area because we've been fighting for it for the past few minutes, and you dare encroach into our area? This is just brazenly moving into their face, and 3 teams are in Soniqs' eyes.
Jeez.
Make that 2 now. Rumblers on the other side providing some efficiency for it, providing some assistance, but this is just Soniqs running amok in here.
It honestly, like, it just feels like they should have a caption to their motto is "We're just better than you," right? So like that's what they like. All of their pushes feel like they have that mentality of it doesn't matter. Like in this push that Shrimzy and Mime are doing, Win was halfway across the circle watching ONA to make sure they don't push them. They did it with 2, and they didn't even care. And then the second they got the push successful, they called Win in, he backed him up. These guys are smooth, practiced, and incredible to watch. It just is what it is. Dodge is out. I love the wild card. I love what wild card was doing. When you saw him just outside there, they were like, you know what? We'll make the circle eventually. There's too much food for us to try not to farm. Meanwhile, we're back to the Soniqs, who are in a pit. They've literally chased everyone else away. ONA's come back towards them because there were no other options. Literally, ONA tried to run away from Soniqs and go north and had to turn back and come down here, and it's going to be a tough fight no matter how you slice it. Nootropic is out, and this circle is, we'll just say, for Funners had the right idea perhaps too soon.
Yeah, ONA, though, is still in a pretty strong position. Wildcard's White Kikamukel comes in, and what? Wow. Wildcard! Okay. I love it. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Mime, also keep doing it. Soniqs now look into ONA's direction, and are they going to push to the north? Yep, of course they are, as they've got vision on a new target and potential points. Only 5 right now, but they have been influencing everything to the southwest.
Man, was that a driving nade from Greg? I think it was. That was gorgeous. Now Soniqs going to go ahead and take the push to ONA. Looks like they're just going to go up over the top of the hill. They know where they are. They got no issues waiting for the right shot. And this is the problem against the Soniqs. You can't peek. You just have to hide behind your hay bale and hope for the best. And it's just tough. Meanwhile, Win goes ahead and lights Stone on fire. Rumblers tries to get out of there. Not going to happen.
I got to say, though, Sneak Attack is there. Sneak Attack, that's your whole name. Soniqs are near you. You can do something to them. So see how that goes. And Soniqs looks like they might have overstepped too much. Rumblers and Wildcard doing a double up. And Sneak Attack, he does it.
He did it.
He takes down the Soniqs now. 2 kills.
Good even playing. Lots of drop options. This is what you want to see.
Soniqs are crossing that western bridge right now. They're doing it quite methodical, making sure that nobody's shooting at them. And by methodical, I mean swerving like a madman to see if anybody actually does start shooting them. There is no one there, though, so Soniqs can continue on, or they can choose to take this for their own.
It's just they made the road wider, so why not enjoy all of it, right? It's like if you adopt your own highway and you just erase the middle line and make a 4-lane into a 2-lane, so it's easy driving. As the Soniqs get to experience all that space. I mean, those are like the biggest lanes in history.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to get the drift in a little bit. It's fun. Plus, it means the fact that if you're the driver, you can like maybe spin it enough to where the people around you, like in the passenger seats, can take damage instead. Finna is so far away on this, though. Like, they could probably, well, I don't know. He's finally making the pass over here. One of them is going to be revealed. Are they going to get away with it? It does look like Firefights managed to get the health back up. It means that Finna is going to have an angle, and that is about an easiest tap you're going to find. Finna's like, that's all right. That's all I need.
For fun, tagged him from the distance and forced him to slide around that tree and just made it a piece of cake for Finna to come there and get that cleanup. Now, Finna does have to fall back. Right now, only Firefight is open, but he's really in a spot that he can't win out of. He's taking fire from, as you see, Tactical 8 for fun, and if he goes over the top of the hill, the boys are waiting. As you see from Finna, who goes ahead and clears that fight. So ultimately, they do lose Ethan, but they walk away with a good kill count from that exchange.
The Soniqs caught up and fight very far to the south. After they left that western bridge, they run all the way to the southern sections of this and then bumped into a team. It does look like you can see that the mix-up is still happening around this position, as Newt did try to make a positional out of this. And yep, they're going to go back to the center. Formation's going to lose their last member. There you go. Now it's all about these guys that are out in the blue, haven't made it over to military, that are going to have to make their cross. And again, the West is whatever you want.
Yeah, it's wild out there.
You know, I was making some jokes about ONA and Newt and Spicy Fish and the fact that they just all sent it to that one spot. That's one spot stayed in the circle for quite a while, so
it's true.
Paid off for them in the end.
We'll see how it goes for them in the very end. Spicy Fish actually found themselves a really good spot right smack in the middle. Soniqs heard there was a knock and came to investigate. And is going to go ahead and get that. Edge is somehow still going. They've made it to a spot. They lost another player, so they're down to 1 at this point. And they should deliver that last kill, I think, to Newt. Nope, it's going to go to Spicy Fish. So Edge will ultimately be eliminated after what was an absolutely wild ride. Mr. Toad has to be on the team.
Well, Valiate had an idea, and Snickers had an idea as well. It seems like Snickers' idea might have been a touch better. The issue is the rest of Rumblers use that distraction to set up a line, and now E United has to make the choice. Do they rotate through the blue for a very long period of time? Do they try to brute force through Rumblers? Because just to the south of that is also going to be Soniqs. E United still wanting to make sure that they get more comfortable in point, but Soniqs now going to creep up. LG back behind Rumblers as well, and Rumblers who are just trying to buy this position to get some points are going to find themselves surrounded quite quickly. Mime even coming in for Soniqs right up on top of them. E United down to just 1 member, and this is getting real bloody real fast. This is a problem. E United has no clear path in coming in. Snickers has at least managed to get his health back up. Rumblers are in front of him, taking some shots in, but it's going to be E United going down first. Rumblers still in a ton of trouble, as we still have Soniqs and LG playing here.
But that's a symptom of teams that are hungry for points, right? Soniqs pushed in from the south. Luminosity collapsed from the north. Exactly. I mean, but that's it, is they're just going around looking for kills. They literally left HWin back at their anchor spot and said, you wait here. We're going to see if we can put some more points on the board. And then went ahead and did it. They lost mine, but it doesn't matter at this point. For the Soniqs, with 6 kills on the board, they'll just keep climbing. This new Tropic Spicy Fish is going to be fascinating to watch as the games continue to develop. 39 and 41, they're very close. They're going to have a lot on their shoulders. We'll see how that plays out. Adam goes for the spray there. Adam almost gets him down. He's got to finish the job, Adam. And it's going to be Sneak Attack that goes ahead and gets the knock. Adam's got to reload. He goes for the spray and gets it. Legend Adam manages to turn back around, gets the second flush. Let's go. Soniqs is eliminated as Adam holds the ground and somehow comes out alive with a little bit of help from Wit. That was clean, man. Welcome back. The grassy pastures have come and passed, and now it is time for us to head to the Just Deserts as we get ready to go to the last 3 games of the regional qualifiers. Miramar, a interesting plane to start. It looks centralized, but really it's not, because that entire northeast side of the map is going to be pointless, because even if you go up there on a long drop, you're going to have to come back for the circle, and there is no easy way to migrate through that northwest middle.
To make sure that you can continue to qualify, and they can't. Rumblers now coming into this because they want to be involved, and very quickly deciding that they do not want to be involved in what's going on, because United still has that opposite angle onto them. So guess what? Here are the Soniqs looking into what's going to be happening onto the Rumblers, and while the Rumblers did come into this, they are...
It was a good shot by Corsac, though.
Yeah, they're in some trouble.
And, you know, and yes, there's no backfill if the team refuses to leave. So the Soniqs aren't going into the circle. They're like, hey, you guys, you don't get to backfill us. This is our spot now. So it looks like Lowe's going to get in the car, try to figure out how to go forward. 4 Funners does go down. Here comes the car charge. The Rumblers have to try it. Is it going to work? Win gets the double. Yikes.
That is everything you do not want to see if you're a Rumblers fan right now. That was well cooked. HWin, though, I don't know what the hell happened, but he is having a massive day for himself. Dodge on the outside does spot out TAC 8, picks up some more points for themselves. Not content to just watch Wildcard climb up that leaderboard. Soniqs, I feel like they're content. They know that it's just a Valley 8 left, and so have moved into the zone itself, content to let him just scavenge his teammates for
Valley 8's going to heal his way through. He thought he might try to get a res to steal the kill, potentially. I don't see many other options for Val here going forward. So Soniqs does move forward. They got a nice double out of that. It was excellently played. That said, though, Rumblers walked away with 5 kills off the back of that. So that is still sort of them putting their averages down and keeping the grind going so that they just can make a move in the next 2 games. So we'll see if that continues. Dodge up here on the north side trying to figure out how they get in on the Soniqs. It feels like every time we cut to a team who's desperate to figure out what to do to get points, they're staring at the Soniqs. And then that's not the answer, right?
Yeah. Soniqs, everywhere you don't want to be. I mean, it's just the way that they're moving through everything, though, it's no surprise. They're just roaming, and they don't care if they're 3. They don't care what. I mean...
His old Raptor to Raptor strategies here.
Oh, wow. Have the high ground on top of them to boot with some cover. United, you can see, is now looking up with Spicy Fish that are both shooting at Soniqs. And by the way, Edge is doing it as well. Whoa. And hey, Immaculate is too. So Soniqs somehow managed to make it over here. Tig goes down, and the cost of 1 for having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams shooting at you is quite insane.
Yeah, but how mad's United? Both of their kills have been stolen by Spicy Fish so far. So SF out here putting in that grind work.
That's pretty well read. United has the problem of having Soniqs. While they are weakened behind them, there are 2 members that are looking in United's direction. United on the hunt for 2 more points to move into the top 10, and more than that would be even gravy. AB lined up against Edge to the south as Immaculate keeps going to look at United's positioning and doesn't want to too much, but it's going to be HWin again. Now just got the ultimate destruction in his hands, and United just cannot find the break that they so desperately want.
Ooh, Soniqs is down and leaves the door open. A lot of teams who are looking for points, sans United, in here to try to make a little bit of something happen. Immaculate, Abstract, Edge, and United. This is match 5. This is go time, and there are at least 4 teams in the mix fighting for 1 spot. They're just having fun. Okay, so this is a direct quote from Yaxley. I said, what's the plan for today? Our game plan is just to have fun. Focus on not doing crazy, risky stuff. When you don't play a lot, you have to live as 4 or die as 4. So there you go.
Take them as you can get them. Soniqs with 4 members up, feeling pretty good about this. But guess what? They're in that same path that we keep talking about. There's TAC 8 right next to them. We also have formation that's just to the south. We've got Immaculate that's going to be to the southwest of them. And to the west of them is going to be E United. LG, please don't come over here. No, they're not. They're very far to the south.
This is a very big...
LG dodged the death trap. The death funnel.
This is huge for SG. LG dodged it, and Tactical 8 is taking massive damage to Soniqs. Soniqs are being aggressive because they don't need to not be. They have 106 points. They're going to win groups, I think, with no huge issue. Maybe get second behind Yahoo, theoretically, because they just put kill points on the board. It's what they do. However, Tactical 8 needs to survive this. They need this game to gross them a minimum of 5 to 6 points. And if they go down early to Soniqs, that could be the end of it. This is huge, this push. All right, so Soniqs does get some shots here on Wildcard. The Wildcard again in 5th, Soniqs in 3rd. 2 teams that aren't necessarily needing to go the distance. Meanwhile, you can see elsewhere on the map, there was a little bit of an abstract, Immaculate back and forth going on as those teams continue to pop shots off against each other. Circle is mostly established. I like that Luminosity has managed to get a little farther in past Wit. Rumblers is still in the same position they were earlier. Soniqs and Wildcard do look like they are going to throw down, though.
Mine just, coming into this, he just walks up into Wildcard, and they've got to go. Issue is, Edge just opted into coming into this path, so this is going to be a weakened Wildcard that is going to be running along a firing line where E United, Dodge, and Edge could all see them.
I'm just watching. I was just watching Mime make this play here. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, live by the edge, die by the edge. Mime's going to feel pretty good about that one. Didn't have to work too hard for it.
Well, Finna stole, I think. That said, though, I mean, it's just like
Finna.
all that work to get here. 20 minutes in the blue, and then you get shot on the way in. It just stinks. It just stinks to be Edge. That's
one of the things is you got to learn. Whenever you get a circle like this that's so much water, early rotation is so important, especially if you're a team like Edge that plays so far north. It creates a lot of problems. Soniqs, though, unrelenting. Waikiki not feeling too good right now. Shrimsy is dead in front of him, but that Bucky being all the life that he has while Dodge is shooting at range. Soniqs is moving into close hand-to-hand combat, essentially, and Edge, here's what's going on, and wants to get some vengeance back for losing a member a second ago.
Wild
Who's gonna go, man?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. Back to the lobby, maybe. Wait a minute. Mime does take some damage. They're down to 2. Again, these are 2 teams that don't need it necessarily, so they're having a good time.
Waikiki Mukau's got a goal. He got some damage off, steps back in, gets some more damage onto Mime, but he takes some as well. Wild card, you got Dodge right up on you on that leaderboard. Here comes some friends in a vehicle. They jump out. Waikiki Mukau trying to go for the spray into him. Tiggs on one side, Mimes on the other. He takes a ton of damage, and he does go down. So now, Dodge, you get an opportunity, and one of those opportunities that's going to be driving by you is Soniqs.
That was absolutely a completely unnecessary fight, but a lot of fun to watch in the grand scheme of things. Let's jump over to Soniqs. Will continue to make their rotation around. They're in a good spot. They'll backfill in, probably cause some trouble for Abstract when they get there.
They could see what's going on over here as well. So, Forefunner's opposite side of this. This is an issue.
Meanwhile, Soniqs and Dodge are going to be going head-to-head. Tigleton's got a knock on Ethan a second ago. Kick does manage to steal that kill. I love the stealing going on here between these teams. Tig does follow back, though. Mime is knocked. Looks like he wants to try to take the fight to Finna. A bit of a 1v1. Tig with the spray. Finna goes down, and now Tigleton, the last man standing. It wasn't a 1v1, but it looks like it may as well have been, as he's going to get aggressive and come back over the top of the hill. Relo did manage to get a knock on Pat Caps in the meantime and a flush, so that's going to be a problem for Spicy Fish as they try to figure out how to deal with Luminosity. Luminosity, by the way, also picks up 3 kills off of 4 Fun.
Well, but they're starting to have some problems of their own.
Yes, they are. There you go, Tig.
A lot going on, and
pushing with the car, and so they flushed him to save the point. That's what I think happened.
I don't even know. Everybody was shooting everyone in that area, so
much death was had that day. This is the moment. ESL PUBG Masters Day 3, the final match to determine which 10 teams go to the big show, starts right now. And the plane is horrific.
That is also important for LG because now LG has some, I guess, relent in the onslaught that's been coming from them. But Wildcard's got to be careful because you can see who's on that hill that they're trying to roam next to.
Right.
They've now put themselves in between Soniqs and Luminosity. Luminosity's got a lot that they need to get. Soniqs, they don't have a care in the world.
Right, Luminosity is like, I want to go get third parties on this, but I just don't know if I can justify it.
Like, Sonic's viewpoint right now is, hey, if we kill these guys, we can be first. That's pretty much it, right?
Well, and the same with Wildcard. They're like, if we kill these guys, you know, we're fine, even if we lose. Luminosity is the only team in the circle right now that is stressed.
This circle is going to stress out a lot of people.
Oh,
no. This is a pretty open circle, and Purdy is going to go down.
He's dead. He's gone. Oh, jeez.
This is starting to become more and more problematic for Luminosity. I cannot remember a time that this has happened in where we haven't seen LG shoot to kill performing. And look, it looks like Wildcard is retreating to their point. Wait, no. Soniqs, what are you doing? You're crashing down into the LG party zone as well. This just became a big problem for LG. They now have got to take these guys out. LG, where do you go? Every single angle is held. Even if they try to get away from this, United might have some vision from their hillside position down below this. So now, Luminosity, you've got to fight it out or sneak your way through this, somehow encourage them to fight. But Wildcard's playing the north. They don't want to go near Soniqs' position.
They had a secret bicycle or a motorcycle to escape, and they shot out the tires. They have no options.
LG got a knock. Wildcard now flanking to the north. It's going to continue to be a pinch onto LG. Knock's not going to get anything as LG can't make the move, and I believe the res just happened as well. Alo spots out Wildcard to the north, gets some damage in. It's going to be IMM at range that sees what's going on, is harassing Wildcard as well. Luminosity in some trouble. They have to be careful of the throwables, but Soniqs are content to wait. They know they can pounce on whatever's coming up. They're actually moving in back behind this. Alo has got to hear what's coming through. Shot's not going to come out. He's going to go down. It's going to be Kickstart that spots him. Luke 12, the dream is dead. Luminosity is out.
Wow. It is what it is, man. That's PUBG. Luminosity Gaming goes out in 11th place at 67 points. Tactical 8 at 74 is going to feel a lot more comfortable, but the Rumblers are still up and technically in the hunt.
Total move out of everything that happened there. It should be noted, Soniqs are now in first with 117 points. So at the cost of some others arise, and that is the nature of everything in PUBG. So Soniqs is going to go ahead and get that top position. IMM, though, now starting to roam around as we're going to continue to see a consistent harassment happening around this hillside because this is the key point. You get so much vision out of it, United realizes it, and they want it.
Whew. Oh, gosh. You think the Rumblers can pull it? No, there's no way they can pull this off. Maybe. There's not enough bodies left on the map. We came, we saw. In fact, they conquered.
This is a day. This is a day, Toffees. That's all I can say, man. The next one. Oh, look at this. Even baited myself.
Jabaited. Damage leaders come out to kickstart at the 5227. Had a heck of a game. Tig behind it, not surprised.
Qualifying teams all considered. Soniqs up at number 1. So all I got to say is next week is about to be fire, and I cannot wait.